back to another episode of Fletch Podcast. I'm your host, Justin Mulvaney, and my other host, co-host, Brooks Benson.
What's up, everybody?
There's Brooksy. Brooks, you got us. It's not a hunt highlight. It's what did we decide we wanted to call it? A fishing follow-up?
We could do we could do a fishing follow up or I don't know, fish highlight. I don't
No,
know.
it's got to be FF. Just like hunt highlight, fish
Yeah,
follow-up.
fish follow up. Yeah, we'll just go with that for now.
That's the best we got. We're super creative.
Yes. Uh, yeah. So yesterday, me and my buddy Aaron, we went ice fishing. This was our first full day on the ice. We did go a couple weeks ago when I got back from Florida. That Sunday, we went up to Tarryall for a couple hours and only saw maybe like 2 fish, and that was it.
Hmm.
And so we've been pretty big homers to Tarryall for a while now. And finally, we're just like, you know what? This place has not given us anything for ice fishing. Summertime, it's great.
Yeah.
Ice fishing wise, we're just like, no, we're never doing this place ever again for ice fishing.
Yeah.
So we decided to change it up a little bit. And we went to Turquoise Lake. And those of you who don't know where that is, it's up in Leadville, Colorado. So it's, I want to say, about 10 minutes out of town. 10 minutes to the west of Leadville. So we're about 10,000 feet above sea level. And it was, when we first got there, it was snowing a lot. So what we ended up doing was we left the night before and stayed in Buena Vista. And then we drove the 45 minutes to Turquoise Lake that morning instead of waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning and trying to beat ski traffic.
Mm-hmm.
So that was definitely a much better idea. And I drove. Aaron, so I paid for the gas, Aaron paid for the hotel, and we stayed at Super 8. And according to Aaron, I was sawing logs and kept them up majority of the night. So Aaron, I apologize for that.
Way to go. Way to go, Brooks.
I know. What a great start. And so we woke up probably about, I don't know, 5:15 or so, and got out of the hotel by about 5:45, grabbed some snacks at the Loves in Buena Vista, and then drove on up and got there. And there was, I think there was one person there already, but it was Aaron's uncle's buddy who's a guide for ice fishing, and it was one of the lakes you can take a snowmobile on, and he was already way on the other side of the lake. He apparently got there at like 5:30 in the morning. And I mean, this dude he knows. He's an ice fishing guide. He knows. So, and at first, Aaron was like, "Oh, we're gonna go all the way over there." Then the more we kept walking, we're both like, "Do we really want to go all the way over to that side of the lake?" Nope. No, we stuck in this little cove area, and we settled at about, I think it was about 55 feet in depth. So we weren't sure what was going to happen. We were told that this is a really good lake to fish because not many people go here, and we're like, okay, cool. There's a lot of lake trout and a lot of rainbow trout. Yeah, we killed it on the rainbows. Could not get a laker, but we killed it on the rainbows. I got 15, Aaron got 14. We kept 4 total. They're pretty good size too. I think majority of them, besides a couple, were over a foot. So that was nice.
Nice.
Yeah, good size stock rainbows. They're not the crazy ones you'll see people where they're like 10 pounds or whatever, and they're right here. They're like, yeah. No, I wish that would have been cool. I think I missed twice on a laker. Like, I hook set and he got off like right away, but I felt him go and I hook it. I was like, got him, and then he got off. And I was like, I think Aaron missed like 6 times.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was those. It's for those of you who don't know, catching rainbows is super easy. Now, when it comes to lake trout, they're one of the most finicky fish ever. For some reason, they're very hard to catch. Not sure why, but that's just how they are. Like, you have to they'll, at least the ones we've tried to catch, you'll barely feel your rod do anything, And if you just barely feel something, you got a hook set or you're done. So, and then they fight. They're bigger fish, so they fight a ton, so they'll get off a lot easier. But yeah, we were trying hard for those Lakers, but oh well. But yeah, rainbows. There was a point where we couldn't even keep the poles in the water,
Nice.
and that was probably like a hour when that was happening, and we just kept pulling them.
Yeah.
So I was keeping you and Tanner updated, and you guys were giving me a hard time about send pics, we don't believe you, blah blah blah. I was like, there's like no service here. But you can text us, but you can't send us pictures, whatever, dude.
Yeah, we know what you did. You went on the other side of the lake, found that guy that was there at 5:30 and said, "Hey, I kind of messed up and told my buddies I caught a bunch of fish. Can I take a couple pictures of your fish?"
Exactly.
And then you sent them to us. That's what took so long. I
Yep.
mean, we know, we get it.
Yep. I borrowed a snowmobile and went right across the lake real quick.
Yeah, exactly. No, then we were getting all the updates, and then finally, I think it was like right in the middle of your catching frenzy, and then it was finally like, "All right, Brooks, that's great. Let us know at the end of the day how you guys do," because it was like 7, 8, 9. It's like, oh my goodness.
We just kept hauling them in. And then there was a definitely like the first probably from about 7 to noon when we were there. It was we were just letting it rip. We're having a good time. Then from about noon to 5, it was very, very down and a few ups, but very down. There was definitely a lot of lulls periods during that time. Which I mean, we didn't expect to catch them all day, but like we kind of we struck fire and we're just going, going, going. And then we got bored and we're like
Yeah,
sleeping. I was down 14-11 at one point to Aaron, and then I came storming back with 4 in a row to finish. And I went,
team full fledged. You're on both teams, but team full fledged wins.
"Mm, hell yeah!" And it was funny because I told Chelsea I was like, oh, I won 15-14. She's like, really? You guys competed? I was like, well, yeah. Why wouldn't you?
It's always a competition.
Yeah, it always is. We're guys, of course we're gonna make it a competition. So, but yeah, overall, that was probably I think that was my best fishing day like ever between summer and winter. I think best by
That's
far
good.
because I think the most before that I've caught in a day was 8, and that was at Tarryall in the summertime a couple years ago.
Hmm.
But yeah, that was just we just struck fire and just we were. Now our next goal is to get some lake trout. That's the next goal. Like okay, like we know how to do the rainbows at
Yeah,
Turquoise. Now we need lake trout.
yeah.
So
There you go. Well, I'm glad you guys finally got onto some fish. Were you guys using the live scope, or did you guys bang it?
we use the live scope.
Of
So
course. You have
of
to. You
course,
got it.
it's a $3,000 machine. Yeah, we used it. It went. It definitely worked, and we saw a ton of lake trout. Like, you could just tell just this by the size difference.
Right.
The regular rainbows were like this, lake trout were like this. So you can just tell from the size. But yeah, we did that. We were in a hut. It was snowing a little bit when we got there. And then I would say about 11 or noon, the sun started to come out. It was really nice. Just a little windy though.
Yeah.
But it was still a really nice day. By the end of the day, it was clear skies. Like you could see Mount Massive and Mount Elbert from where we're fishing. So that was really cool.
Nice.
So yeah, I'd say very successful ice fishing day. Because I was at the point, man, if we didn't catch a thing, I would have retired from ice fishing forever. That's how bad it went for us last year because we could not catch a fish. Now, you could look now I look back and it's like, you know what? I guess we just paid our dues last year, you know?
Yeah.
And then this year when we went to Tarryall for that couple hours, we were just like, we suck at this. But then it was just like, we just need to change lakes and just go somewhere different for once. And sure enough, it worked out.
There you go.
Yep. So yeah, there's my fish follow up.
Fish follow up. We Caitlin and I we went to lunch today, and We went to a new spot, Mexican restaurant. One of the few times we actually go out to eat, and we'd heard some reviews on this place. I was like, all right, it's not too far from my house. Let's go check it out. Well, we get there, and in it's like in a little shopping center. I don't know, like there's a grocery store, uh, a gym, a couple other restaurants, a couple businesses, whatever. Well, in this little center or whatever is a bait and tackle shop. So it's like Finn's Bait and Tackle or Finn's Tackle, something like that. It's like,
Hmm.
oh, where's this been? Like, I drive by it every day on my way to work. I'm like, I think it's new. I don't. Apparently, it's been there for like over a year. Shows how much I pay attention at 4:30 in the morning. Anyways, so we went and ate, and we went in there, and they got all sorts of good stuff. So we're gonna get in there and restock because we lost some baits and stuff like that, some jig heads, and we need some more and all that good stuff. So we're getting fired up with the our fishing season, I guess, coming up. I mean, you
Nice.
can fish year round, but it's our season when we decide to go out. And I've started to do a little bit more research on striped bass and hybrid bass. I've
Hmm.
never been a bass fisherman, so I've never like known the ins and outs. I know walleye much better, and I'm not nearly like a professional in walleye, but I mean they're very similar, the hybrids and stripers. So I mean we just fish from shore, so they're similar to walleye. So fishing from shore, our best chance at them is when the water temp is going to be down. I mean, we were just trying for anything last year. We didn't really we just threw out whatever. We were switching all the time, different baits, different techniques, and all that stuff. So we're gonna have a little bit better idea this year. We're not gonna be like fully invested anglers, but we're gonna try to have a little bit more fun with it this year.
There you go. That'll be fun. I've always wanted to go bass fishing. I've
Yeah.
tried a couple times, but I'm never successful because I have no idea
hmm
what to do
Yeah.
when it comes to bass.
I mean, it always just looked like dumb to me because like I I'm on the train of like catch and release is pretty ridiculous unless you're releasing because you don't want that type of fish.
Hmm.
But like if it's the fish that you're targeting, but you're letting it go, what's the point in fishing for it? I mean, I understand like people say bass fishing is just fun. Their fight is fun and they're fun to watch and all that stuff.
Hmm.
And so like I get that to an extent, but it's also like you're not going to keep it. Like that's what you were fishing for. But
Right.
I don't know. Just because like I mean, the only time we ever released fish was if they were undersized. They were under that slot limit. And we always fished for walleye growing up. So it was like, 15-inch slot limit had to be above 15. And so it was like, all right, it was 14 and 3/4. Got to let it go. That's the only time we'd ever throw a walleye back is
Hmm.
undersized. Or we would throw back the really big ones, which I don't know. Again, not a biologist, not an expert, but people say, oh, you throw back the big ones, they're your breeders. And then I guess people have come back and said, like, yeah, they're pretty much like past their prime once they reach a certain point. So, like, if you catch like a mega monster, it's like, well, you may as well take it out because it's not actually breeding.
Right.
So, but
Okay.
again, I don't know how true that is. So, if you know,
Right.
throw a comment down below and let us know the facts, Jack.
I know here in Colorado, there's some lakes that if the lake trout are above a certain size, you have to release them. You cannot keep them.
Yeah, yeah, there are certain fish types in certain lakes. You have an actual slot of minimum and maximum. Anything outside of that, you got to let them go. I don't think the two lakes that we fish, I don't think that there's a minimum. I don't think there's a slot for hybrids
Okay.
or stripers. And then Old Hickory, they have sauger and
Hmm.
sawguy, and I think they might have some walleye. I mean, if you got sawguy, you probably have walleye. But
Right.
like that's the lake that's more north of us. It's
Hmm.
30 minutes. It's not too bad, but um
Right.
I don't know. We're gonna try to actually get onto some sauger this year
Nice.
because they're the most closely related to walleye that we have
Hmm.
a chance at. So I don't know. We'll try a little harder for them this year too.
That'd be fun. I've always wanted to fish for walleye. I've never fished for walleye before.
Yeah, if I ever get a chance to go back during the spring, summer, actual fishing season. I mean, I guess when we go up, well, wintertime. Whenever we went up this year, the lake wasn't frozen yet. Not ice fishing, but it's not the time of year where you really go out on the boat either. I was gonna say,
Right.
like, if we go up for like a Thanksgiving or Christmas in the future, you can always join us. But I mean, you still can always join us. The fishing, I don't know how great the fishing will be and how we'll do it, but no, it was always fun going up Glendo, Wyoming. It's
Lindo.
yep, that's the spot. Not trying to tell everybody to go there because you don't want to overcrowd it, but it's a great spot. It's a great spot. So
I mean, it's still 3 hours or so from Denver anyway, so it's.
yeah, it's far
I
enough
feel
that
like.
some people are like, you know, if I'm gonna go 3 hours, I'm gonna go.
Mhm.
They think they have their. I mean, everybody has their preferences. If I'm gonna go 3 hours, I'm gonna go west. It's more
Right.
pretty or whatever. Well,
Right.
screw you. Glendo's pretty, depending on how you look at it.
I
Sideways,
like Lindo.
sideways, upside down, and with your eyes three-fourths closed. It's pretty. Sunset, sunrise, sunset there.
Hmm.
Really hard to beat. Really hard to
Yeah.
beat. Oh, nighttime. Okay, this is the last thing on Glendo before I talk too much about Glendo. Nighttime, Glendo, Wyoming, clear skies. Oh, you can't beat it. Any time of year, getting to see the stars. I mean, just like, I mean, if you go to the mountains and stuff like that, where there's not very much light pollution, you know, you get to see pretty night sky, but pretty much like 95% of the state of Wyoming, if you walk outside and it's a clear night and you're not
Hmm.
in Cheyenne or Casper, basically,
Hmm.
you get like the best view of the night sky. It's awesome.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah. Those are always great, and be able to be in. I love Wyoming. It's such a cool state. I know the eastern half gets a lot of flack, but
It's
I
kind
get
of
it.
ugly. It's a little
There's a
ugly,
lot of
but
wind.
yep.
A lot of wind. I get it.
There's a lot of pretty sights to it still, though,
There is. There is. There's a
and
lot of
history.
tons of history there.
It's cool. Really cool. All right, we'll get back to things that people actually care to talk or listen to, whether or not
Yeah,
they
right.
actually care, but I don't know. We'll talk a little more archery because it is that time of year where archery tournaments are starting to happen. And I've never participated. I don't know if I ever will, but I think it was a couple weekends ago. I don't think it was a week ago. I think it was a couple weekends ago. The Lancaster Archery Classic happened, and then I don't know. There's lots of tournaments, but there's only a few like really big ones. Caster is one of the bigger ones, and then the probably the biggest one is the Vegas shoot. And we'll
Hmm.
talk about that in a minute. Lancaster just happened, and so I don't know. We were just thinking like, oh, what should we talk about? We haven't really talked about indoor shoots and like competition shoots. We've talked about TAC and a little bit
Yeah.
about Western Hunt Fest, which is they're all different from each other. So
Hmm.
we haven't really talked about indoor shoots. So again, I haven't participated. I've really only watched. I watched a lot more in depth last year.
Hmm.
I kind of caught the highlights this year at the tail end,
Hmm.
like YouTube of like, oh, these are like the cool things that happened, yada yada. But no, we'll kind of talk about how those work and the intricacies of that stuff. So, um, I don't know. First off, what do you know about indoor shoots, Brooksy?
All I've heard about is the Vegas shoots, and that's about it. I don't know much about indoor. I'd like to get into it, but
Yeah, so I mean, indoor tournaments, it's a lot more like it's similar to how like an Olympic style archery shoot goes. I get not even that really. Anyways, so like how the Lancaster one works and the Vegas shoot, how those both work. You have three targets. Each of the different like tournaments, they have their targets set up differently. So I want to say Lancaster is in a triangle and Vegas they're in a straight line up and down. And then you get to determine like before you start, like you have to say, okay, I'm aiming for in order one, two, three, whether it's top, left, right, or left, top, right, however you want to do it. You have to like predetermine this is the order I'm going to shoot all of
mhm,
my they call them ends. And I forget how many ends you get, but anyways, like X number of ends
mhm,
you you shoot the same order, like left, right, center, however you want to do it. It's 11 is your smallest, like bullseye, and then it's
Uh-huh.
10, 9, 8, 7. I think that's all they go to. Typically, if you're missing that bad, you're probably not competing anyways. And
Right.
then the cool thing about uh, Lancasters, they have a 12 ring, which is you can shoot at it once each end, but you have to like call it. So you have to say, okay, I'm shooting for the 12 instead of whatever target shooting at the 11. You're shooting for the
Hmm.
12, which is just the diameter of the largest arrow that they allow. So I was just looking at the rules. I forget. Each one is going to be, I think they're typically going to be a little bit different, but really similar. So 10.7 millimeter, 0.422 inches is the maximum diameter arrow that they allow. So I think this target is like maybe half an inch big.
Hmm.
Uh, so you get to shoot for that once an end, and if you hit it, you know, a 12 instead of an 11 or whatever. So you can
Right.
maximize your points that way. It's cool because you get to do um, like you when you get to the finals, it's a different thing. They call it a shoot up. So you're basically shooting against whoever. So the last two in is like 11 and 12, I think is or something like that. Or anyways, you're shooting up. If say it's the final six, final four, we'll say. Three and four are shooting against each other. Winner of that shoots against whoever was ranked second. Winner of that shoots against who was ranked first. And so
Okay.
you're having a shoot up. So you could be the fourth place person, and you have to shoot all the way from like. So this ranking is based on the qualifying rounds, not just based off
Right.
of how you are as a shooter in history. It's just on that weekend. So going into this shoot up round or the finals, whatever you want to call it, it's you have your ranking one through whatever, and then so you could be in fourth place, but you have to shoot up against number three, and then if you beat them, you shoot against number two. If you beat them, then you go up against number one. And then you have your
Okay.
that's your final round. And so four or two could beat four, and then two faces one. However, so
Gotcha.
it's one and done. If you lose it, you're done.
Gotcha. Okay.
It hopefully you can kind of follow, but it's
Yeah.
unique. It's as opposed to just like a bracket style where
Hmm.
four faces three, two faces one, and then the winner of that comes together. A little bit different. It's kind of cool, but yeah. So I don't know. Kind of as simple as it sounds, it's highest score wins overall, or going into like I said that shoot up final whatever
Hmm.
round, and then at the very end, whoever outshoots in that finals round. Your total score doesn't matter going in like after that. So going into it, it matters, but then once you reach it, your score of that particular round determines whether you advance or not.
Right.
Winner versus loser. If you lose, you're out.
Gotcha.
Pretty cool. Lancaster, the Open Pro. So they have all sorts of different divisions. It's like Open Pro, Women's, Masters, Open, Youth, Olympic, you name it. They got all sorts of different uh classes. But
Right.
the biggest payout is first place in Open Pro wins $20,000.
It's pretty good.
So yeah, I mean, if you make it through and I forget what determines whether you're an Open versus Open Pro versus Bow Hunter versus whatever. I don't there's all sorts of different like guidelines as to what puts you into which classification. So
Okay.
Open Pro, you get if you win it, you get $20,000. And then the other, I guess, bet or whatever, it's a over the course of the weekend, whatever score you get. So if you shoot an absolutely perfect and I don't think they have the 12s for the qualification rounds. The 12 I think is only for the shoot ups. So if you shoot a 660 where you get an 11 every single shot of the weekend, well, when it counts. Like you get practice rounds and those what you score in there doesn't count. It just is like a warm up. But if you shoot a 660 over the weekend and nobody else does it, you win $20,000 also. So you could shoot a 660, get your 20,000, and then you go into the shoot up and you're an open pro and
Mhm.
you would then have a chance at getting another 20,000. So you could, in theory, walk away from Lancaster that tournament with $40,000 in your pocket if you have an absolutely perfect qualifying round, and then
Jeez.
you win the which would you would assume that would put you probably in first place going into the shoot
Yep.
up. So you'd only have to shoot against one other person at the chance to win 20,000 for winning the tournament. So pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm looking at the website right now. Looks like this Ethan Conway guy won the bow hunter division. And
Yeah,
then,
so the big name the last couple of years, he's a young fella. His name is Bodie Turner. Bodie Turner is yeah, he's the guy to beat. And so I want to say he's maybe 18, like 17 or 18, young guy, like kid. Last year he won Lancaster like without any issue. Like obviously he didn't win this year. I
right.
was looking, but yeah, looking at the classic winners.
Yeah.
Open Pro Jacob. I would butcher that last name. Jacob won, but he this Bodie Turner guy. So his dad is Joel Turner, and his whole story is he is a former policeman.
Mhm.
He was a sniper in the police force, and he established this, I guess not theory, but like method for shooting and shooting sports. It's called
Yeah.
shot IQ. Have you heard of that?
Mhm.
So shot IQ is just this, like I said, it's this method for shooting and like getting your mind right and controlling your mind as you're executing shots, whether it's archery or
Solve
snipers
target
or
mechanic. Okay.
yeah. So really cool. So Joel Turner's the father to Bodie Turner, and so like Bodie Turner is like he's the child of this whole method and like proof in the pudding. Like his whole life, he's been training using this method and ideology of like the shot IQ and execution and not punching the trigger and like how to not punch the trigger, all that good stuff. And so he's like really good. Like I said, he's like 17, 18 years old, and he's won a ton of money in his young career. So kind of surprised, like going into these indoor shoots, like he is the guy to beat always. And
Okay.
so for him to lose, it was when like I said, I didn't watch this year. Like I watched almost all the classifications that they posted live last year. I did not watch them this year. And so I was surprised when I looked at, I was like going into it, I was like, oh, all right, expect to see that Bodie Turner as the winner of whatever
Hmm.
division he gets put in. And yeah, no, he did not win this year, so pretty surprising. But
247 bucks if you want to do it. Shot IQ.
oh, you're looking up shot IQ. So I guess you're looking at the website. What does that get you?
So that gets you 50 plus modules of step by step training, expert guidance from leading world expert Joel Turner, 24/7 shot IQ customer support, lifetime access to everything, and free updates for life. All new training from Joel for 2024. Obviously, probably he's got to change it to 2025. But yeah, that's what you get.
Yeah,
And
so
of course,
it's
he's
good.
got Joe Rogan, Brian Call, Nate Simmons, Mark Kenyon, uh, all these guys, Donnie Vincent, who are just studs in the archery world.
Yeah,
Uh,
he hangs out with Elk Shape and MFJJ, those guys. He did tack with them last year, I think a couple of times. But yeah, he's a big time archery guy, and I think that's all he does, aside from following his son around to these shoots, is he does shot IQ. And yeah, he just goes around and teaches this method that he has come up with. I highly recommend actually going and listen to his podcast episode with Joe Rogan.
right.
Really, really interesting and talking about mindset. And so yeah, that was a good listen. It kind of gave you a little bit more in-depth look at kind of what he went through to establish this method that he pretty much came up with. And it's
Mhm.
nothing like it's not like any voodoo, like, okay, now before you go in, you have to like cut yourself like on the head this many in this places, and you have to do
Right.
like this movement and that movement, and then you're going to be like in the position to make the perfect shot. It's all mental and kind of putting yourself in the mental process of good shot execution. So really cool. But yeah, Bodie Turner didn't win, and it's always like, man, how did he not win every time? Because you watch him shoot, and it's like he just nails 11s. And last year, I was watching, he did it different. He hit a bunch of 12s to like start the round, the end or whatever. And like all these older guys that have been doing it forever, they were like, what the heck is this young guy doing? So like he just eventually, like he shot 3 12s in a row, and
Mhm.
the guys that he was facing didn't even bother on the 12s. And then they realized like too late, like even if I 11 out and he wins out, like, or tens, whatever, like he's gonna beat me just because he hit these 12s. And so
Right.
he like changed the whole approach to how you win that shoot up. So it's pretty cool last
That is
year.
really cool.
So maybe somebody else came up with a different. I'd have to go back. They put them on YouTube, and I started watching one of them. I think I started watching the bow hunter one, and anyways,
Okay.
they have them all posted on their YouTube, and so I started watching a couple of them, and I didn't get around to watching all of them. So I wonder if the Open Pro division, if somebody else came up with like a different method
Mhm.
on shooting
So
12s.
so how do you qualify for if like say if we wanted to go do the Lancaster Archery Classic, how do we qualify for that?
I think there's like just you just sign up.
Oh, you just straight sign up. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think you have to have any like pre-qualifications. You just, if you're willing to pay the money and show up, you can do it. And then you just have to, your setup determines what classification you get put in. So your age matters, your type of bow, your attachments that you have on the bow, like your accessories, what type of sight you're using, what length stabilizer you use also matters. So
Okay.
like bow hunter, I forget what it is to make it bow hunter, but off the top of my head, but to be in bow hunter, I believe it has to be like your stabilizer has to be shorter than 12 inches off of the front of your riser,
Okay.
something like that. So you can have a 12-inch stabilizer, but like my bow is a 12-inch on the front, but I have one of those like quick couplers on the front, and so it pushes it
Right.
out like an extra inch or something like that. And when we were in Garden City, Tanner and I, we went and did one, and they were like measuring, and they're like, so you would actually technically be in this one because your right or your front stabilizer goes out like a half inch too far or whatever. I was like, okay, that's fine. Like I'm just here to shoot. That's all I really care about. Yeah, so I mean, they care about that stuff because I mean, when it really comes down to it, your stabilizers matter, and so
Yeah.
like when you look at like oh, what is he? He won. I was just looking. He won the Masters Open Pro. This guy has three stabilizers.
Hmm.
So he has a front stabilizer, a
Uh-huh.
back left stabilizer, and a back right stabilizer. So he has literally like it looks like a tripod
Huh.
for his bow sticking
Okay.
out, and all these stabilizers are like 2 foot long. And so I believe the open division is like it doesn't matter what you put on your bow. You can put three stabilizers and as much weight and whatever else you want to put, like whatever sight, you can do whatever you want.
Mm.
Whereas bow hunter, you have to be shorter stabilizer, and I think you can even use in your peeps in those open divisions. I think you can use magnifiers, whereas bow hunter, I don't think you can use those.
Okay.
So there's some peeps that has like a magnifying, like really small magnifying glass,
Uh-huh.
and or not the peeps, your sight, your scope. They have a magnifying glass, so it'll like make that target bigger, and so then
Hmm.
you can hold like in the dead center of like it's not gonna make it look like this big, but you can
Right.
hold because it's magnified by like Bex or whatever. That target that's half an inch big might look like an inch big,
Mm.
and so makes it a little bit. You can aim a little bit more fine with that.
Okay.
Yeah, those like I said, all the different divisions is they have their own rules, and it's crazy. Yeah, these people put a lot of money into their setups.
Yeah, it definitely seems like that. That'd be a lot of fun to go try and compete in that.
Yeah, like to go jump in the bow hunter division. What was I seeing? The bow hunter, I think you get like 5,000, something like that if you win it.
It's not bad.
Barebow gets 8,000. That's like an old school recurve.
Bow hunter
Women's
final.
Open, Senior Open, and Bow Hunter first place gets $3,000. I mean, $3,000 more than I have now.
Max.
So yeah, it's really cool. And then the Vegas shoot, I forget what the payout is, but I think it's like $1 million or something crazy.
Cow. Here,
Let me
let's look
see.
it up.
I could be totally making that number up, but so don't quote me on it yet. I'm not the Vegas shooting map. I don't care. Speaking of which, there's apparently some un or some classified information regarding that they've been holding back from us. Surprise, surprise.
Weird.
That stuff never happens. The government's always been totally transparent with us.
Totally transparent, you know?
All right. Yeah, so Vegas, I think it's something crazy. Like you shoot, okay, all these silence pieces will get edited out so it doesn't sound so awful. Round rules. Okay, so like Vegas, you get put into like a flight. So basically like a group or like your tea time for golf. You know, you're paired
Right.
up with three other people. Like if you're all solos and you just show up. This flight is literally like maybe 50 people long, something like that, 100 people long. I don't know how long it is or how many they actually have, but you just get put into a flight and you have your target, so you're lined up on target number 12 and whatever, and then you got like people, they're like nuts to butts on this line, and everybody's shooting same distance and what have you. And yeah, so there's 3 days of competition, and so you just get put into flights all 3 days, and by the end of it, highest score gets put into like the championship rounds. And so
Okay.
yeah, they got a lucky dog shoot off. So somebody who any archer in the championship compound open division shoots a 3 day total of 899 is eligible for one spot with the 900s. So in order to make it into the championship, you have to shoot a 900, which is all tens.
Oh,
The
wow.
every shot you take throughout the 2 3 days, whatever, you have to shoot a 900 to get into the championship round. But if you shoot an 899, you get put into this what they call lucky dog shoot off. So it's anybody and everybody that shot an 899 that's in that open division. You get put into this spot against everybody else, and you basically have a shoot off.
Uh,
Like you get one person out of that group that gets put into the championship division or the championship round. Sorry, the championship round that gets to shoot against all the others who none of them missed. And then so one person gets in there and he gets a chance at that championship, even though
okay.
he missed one target by maybe a sliver earlier in the weekend.
Okay. This is
So
all super interesting.
yeah, 900 guarantee. So all championship division archers shooting a score of 900 are guaranteed a minimum prize of 2,500.
It's not bad.
10K a day shoot off, so they have $10,000 a day where you can have a shoot off for
Mm-hmm.
all sorts of crazy stuff.
Nice.
Oh, you have a dress code for the championship divisions. Crazy.
I'm sure decked out in your like all like the archery, that archery shirts they wear,
Oh yeah, like the jerseys. Yeah.
jerseys. Yeah. I'm kind of playing the bow hunter finals right now for the Lancaster.
Oh yeah, you're watching how that works.
Yeah.
It's pretty
It's
cool.
interesting. It is pretty cool. Like, man, like just being
You're in the spotlight. They turn all the
it's
lights down, and like you
literally
have a light on the target and a light basically on you, just enough for you to see your pins.
like that's like I no wonder people get target panic, man. Like, holy cow.
And it's kind of cool. They do it different than like Vegas doesn't really do it the way that Lancaster does it. In between ends, so you make your three shots or whatever, and somebody goes and gets the arrows for you. And while you're waiting for them to go and like check the scores and all that and finalize the scores, they'll go up to each person like after each end and be like, "So how nervous are you?" And, like put a mic in their face, and there's like a couple hundred. I mean, it's not like a mega like you're not in the Dallas like Superdome where
Right.
or whatever, and there's not like thousands and thousands of people with their eyes on you, but like there's still a
Right.
couple hundred people, and it's a different situation. He walks, so how scared are you right now? And like goes up and he's like, I might have shit my pants about 5 minutes ago.
I'd say that. Like, everyone's watching me.
It's a lot more lighthearted than some of these other things. So the thing with the Vegas shoot is I think it's like the peak of the peak for the indoor World Series. It's the world, gosh darn it, World Archery Federation or whatever, or national, I don't know, NFAA. Anyways, it's a big deal for more
Mm,
than just the Vegas shoot. Whereas the
right.
Lancaster shoot, I'm pretty sure is like just the Lancaster shoot. There's nothing else really to it. Vegas shoot, I believe, is like a qualifier or whatever for other stuff. So yeah, I
Man.
mean that's pretty cool. And you get it's similar setup where you get the three targets, and they're all vertical. And I think you get to
Right.
choose whether you go down to up or up to down, and you're shooting your second one in the middle every time.
Okay.
So.
My dogs are freaking out. Dogs!
But no, and then so that's all totally different than like a 3D, like ASA is like
Mm,
your 3D tournament where it's like an actual tournament where you're going and keeping score and stuff like that. So think of like TAC much
mhm.
more like intense as far as like the rules go, and like people are keeping score similar to like probably what from what I understand of like Western Hunt Fest is, or you're keeping score of how you shoot, and you know accuracy definitely, I mean, it always matters, but like you're keeping score every target, and um they have different divisions for that. So you have your known, or the how far, like you can take your rangefinder, range the target from your shooting point, and so you get put into groups with that as well, more similar to golf where you have like your group and you're kind of walking around target to target. And yeah, so you can go up there known, you obviously you get to know the range, the distance, and you can dial up your your sight. And then you also have your unknown, so that one's like the most impressive, and people like care about that. I think that person gets the biggest prize at the end. It's similar to like Lancaster where all the different divisions have different prize money. I believe
Mhm.
the unknown, like men's division, gets the most money at the end of the deal. But yeah, so this one's really impressive. I mean, you get like a practice round the day before, but
Uh-huh.
they're not set. Like those practice rounds aren't set at the distances that you're gonna shoot the next
Gotcha.
like 2 days or whatever. And so you go in and you just have to guess your range. Like it's really impressive to see some people will shoot like nearly perfect scores, and it's
Mhm.
like, man, that person, I forget how many targets you get. It's like 20 targets or something like that. 25
Mhm.
targets. And it's like, man, like somebody who shoots a nearly perfect score, one made perfect shot execution just about every time.
Right.
And also in the unknown division, they guessed the range of that target nearly
Mhm.
perfect every single time. So both very impressive, and to do that together, like really, really impressive. So those are
Right.
fun to watch also because it's a different aspect than like these indoor shoots where you're at whatever 25 yards or 25 meters,
Mhm.
and the target is going to be the same every single time. Whereas
Right.
you have these ASA shoots, it's like you're shooting a bear, you're shooting a deer, you got the moose, different types of animals, different colors, sizes of targets, stuff like that. So yeah, it's definitely different, interesting.
Okay. Come on, dogs. Interesting. Dogs, go upstairs.
Dang
Sorry.
dogs.
I know. They're hungry. So
Yeah, you're good.
he's shoot. I mean, I never thought I'd get into indoor, but now the more I'm kind of watching it, the more I'm like, I kind of want to do this.
Yeah, they have leagues, and maybe there is something like you have to be in a league that's like recognized as whatever.
Hmm.
I don't know. They have all sorts of like National Field Archery Association, which they're who hosts the Vegas shoot. Um, them ASA, like there's all sorts of different like groups, and like you can be, if you're wherever you have your league, if they're a member of that organization, then you can like qualify or whatever. All
Okay.
that's maybe that's part of like what can get you in to some of these, but I feel like I'm pretty sure anybody and everybody can show up to any of these.
Okay.
Like if you had the money and the means to get there, I don't think they turn anybody away because it just, I mean, it grows the sport, you know.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
That's
for
something where
sure.
it's like, I mean, it's no offense to the people that are in it, but it's archery. It is not like right now the Super Bowl's like we're recording this during the Super Bowl. It is not the Super Bowl. It's not football where millions of people take time out of their whole day or their whole year to make sure they watch
Hmm.
this one event. You know, they don't set time aside once a week to watch archery all day long to see who shoots the best. They're just not doing that. And so it's like to be like, oh yeah, we're having this really big tournament where you could potentially win 20,000. Oh no, you didn't shoot in your member affiliated league for X number of whatever. You don't get to do it. So I think like it just you get put in a different division. You don't get to go and be in the open pro like champion division. You get to
Right.
participate, but you don't get to be in like the big money. So there is that where it's like, okay, yeah, you actually have to be proven good shooter to get into the one where you can actually win the 20,000. But you know, I think the bow hunter division, like you and I can show up and shoot well and could win whatever I said it was 3,000.
Yep, I think so.
I didn't see Vegas shoot. I'm trying to see.
Yep, 3,000.
Okay, awards and payouts on their $2,500 guarantee for all championship 900 scores. Championship compound open. First place $58,000
That's pretty
if
good
you win first place.
for just compound.
Yeah, that includes a $5,000 bonus if the winner is a current NFAA professional member awarded from the NFAA. Okay, so take that out, you could win $53,000 if you're
Okay.
not in that. So,
Hmm.
I mean, that's still very impressive. Like you can go
Oh
win
yeah,
a bunch of money.
very very impressive.
Well, and if you shoot your 900, you get an additional $2,500.
Right.
This is just for the Vegas one. Yeah, so you get $2,500 if you shoot a 900. You get another 5,300 if you're not in the NFAA. You get the
Mhm.
additional five if you are. There's that 10K a day giveaway or whatever shootout. So you can just win money hand over fist if you go to Vegas and shoot well if
Yeah.
you're in the right division.
Interesting. Dang
Bow
it.
hunter flights. So first place for bow hunter, you get if you're in flight one, you can get $2,000. That's like if you shoot the best, obviously. Best of the
Right.
best, $2,000. You could win 150 bucks if you're in flight 10 or 11.
It's not bad. Still 150 bucks.
Yep. Crossbow. They have a
Ooh,
crossbow division.
interesting.
Yeah, so it's a different world and um it's for reals. I mean, it's not like TAC where you just show up and get to have fun with your buddies and shoot at foam.
Right.
Um, ASA, I want to say ASA, you maybe do have to be like part of a league or something like that to get in. I don't know. Maybe we can dive deeper on that some other time, but
Yeah, we could.
no, because those come up a little bit later. Real quick, I'll just check, but the indoor stuff that's kind of coming to an end. I think the Vegas shoot is like early March or something like that, and I think that's the last big indoor of the year, and then it turns into ASA gets heavy and
Uh,
outdoor leagues or tournaments happen.
okay. Yeah, they they have a few. So they got there's
The first big one is in Foley, Alabama. That comes up in 10 days.
yep,
And usually, so I wonder if they had it. So the range that Tanner and I have gone to, we went to a couple last year. That's like right here close to us. That they host like a shoot every weekend prior to an ASA event as like a warm up. So
okay.
and it's actually really cool. We get to, I mean, we haven't really talked to anybody that, because you can, like, because they wear their jerseys or whatever. And some of them, like, we got to see some of the Matthews members or Matthews shooters, sponsored shooters. their setups are like very impressive. Like they've got obviously the newest bows and like super crazy sights and peeps and all the
Right.
accessories and attachments. Like it's really impressive. But yeah, they go out there and they're just practicing for the usually it's like I said, it's the weekend before an ASA.
Hmm.
Yeah. Pro-ams for ASA, February 20th, March 27th, April 24th, May 29th, June 26th, July 31st. They're all on like the eastern side of the country, central time zone.
Of course they are. I guess I got to come out your way.
There is, I forget, like the Reading, I forget what they call it, Reading 500 or something like that. It's a big archery shoot. I want to say it's similar to TAC, but maybe more like you keep score at it.
Okay.
Well, maybe we can get around to talking about those outdoor events. I mean, I know, like I said, the one's coming up in 10 days, but once we're kind of more in the heat of it and there's a lot more happening, maybe we can sit down and watch a couple and be like, oh, this is cool. This is how this happens, and talk a little bit
Hmm.
more about it.
Yeah, I'd be down for that. It'd be a good episode.
So, yeah, the indoor world is definitely interesting. And like I
It
said,
is.
I think they have more than just those big ones. Like you said, there's some leagues. Get in on some leagues. That'd be really fun. You can do most bow shops or like archery centers in an area will have some sort of indoor league. So,
Right. Yeah, I think I was looking. There's I think up north at No Limits they have a league. Yeah, I think Bear Creek has a league.
yeah.
I have to look at some others and see what there is around here.
Yeah. I want to say we thought about doing it this year, like going into this year, but then we just like didn't really pay attention to anybody that was doing it. And so maybe next year, because I think they're already kind of going at this point. So,
Okay.
but I could be wrong. Maybe they take new people in all the time. They're just like, hey, whatever you can. Maybe it's like a weekly thing, weekly prizes
Yeah.
instead of like building up where it's like a league where yeah, you kind of have to win, and then the winner at the very end gets prize money. I don't know. I don't know how it works.
Well, let's see what Bear Creek has. See if classes. Let's see. What's this?
Okay, so I'm looking at there's Music City Archery in Nashville. I've never been there, but Adult League. Enjoy our social league every Thursday and Friday at 7 p.m. Each session is 2 months long.
Okay.
No equipment required. All skill levels welcome. So you get 30 arrow round at 10 or 20 yards.
Hmm.
So I don't
Okay.
know how that works, but this is a BYOB event. Bring your own bow, bring your own beer.
Bring your own beer.
It says no equipment required, but then this is BYOB, so it's got to be bring your own beer.
So No Limits has leagues. I didn't see anything on um, Bear Creek. They have a spot league and a 3D league.
Ooh, 3D League would be fun.
That'd be a lot of fun. It says it's Thursdays from 7 to 9.
You have to
Obviously
quit
indoor.
doing your lessons thing.
Jason, hope you're not listening to the podcast right now.
I'm out, man. I'm going to do this archery league thing.
So let's get him and Joel. Let's go do this here. Might as well. We're here in Denver. Yeah, that'd be fun. Of course, they just give you a photo and don't really give you info on it. Well, that's okay. But
Yeah, I mean that's literally I read off as much information as they have on this one. I think that might be the only one in the area.
for you
Crazy.
guys,
Yeah, Music City Archery.
what else? Bear Creek No Limits, Rocky Mountain Specialty Gear. What are they? Sorry, people, if you're listening. I know we're just kind of rambling right now. They're not post freaking. Yeah, I don't see anything.
I wonder if Nashville East Archery is the new MFJJ. I wonder if they are gonna possibly do a league. I don't know if they do one up in their Washington location, but I wonder if they would do a league.
Maybe. I'm sure people will be asking about it. Wonder if the
Not Nashville East, Nashville West, right? Nashville West Archery.
Nashville West.
Do they not have a website?
I thought. Well, I mean, I wonder if the Highlands Ranch Range that's close to here has a tournament
Ooh,
or a league or something.
yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Well, Brooks, before we waste the time of the listeners and viewers more, I think
Apologies.
we should go ahead and wrap her up.
Yeah, I think we should wrap it up. We kind of just started looking at stuff towards the end. I think it's about
So,
that time.
yep. No, it was definitely interesting to look at all that stuff, and who knows, maybe down the line at some point we find ourselves competing in an indoor event, or maybe find ourselves in an ASA tournament, which, like we said, we'll talk more on that.
Hmm.
Maybe watch and be a little more educated on ourselves. But
Yeah.
no, it's a different world. I mean, opposed to just the hunting world, there's a whole like shooting competition shooting world. So we hadn't really touched on it before, so nice to just kind of at least talk about it and acknowledge it exists. And it is cool, and I could definitely see myself participating. I don't know how in depth I would get with it, but it'd be fun to
Right.
do.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun to do. And so maybe we will someday, hopefully.
So, all right, with that, we'll wrap her up. Appreciate you guys listening. We'll catch you on the next one.
Thanks for listening. See you guys.
Bye bye.
We